Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this stream on Apex Online Racing. Introducing, well, a new kind of stream to this channel, but, well, a reintroduction into a very old league on AOR. It's the return of the AOR Assetto Corsa League on the PC side of things. We are starting off season number 5 here today with a pre-season test race. I am Ycoms, and as per usual, I'll be joined by the lovely Phil Reed. Isn't it good to be back, Phil?
Yeah, it's great to be back, Chris. I must admit, I've never been described as lovely before, but I'll take it. It's a new one. I'm excited for new words.
Oh, I guess we're also excited, I guess, for the new season, as, you know...
Oh, yeah, that.
I mean, many of you probably are not too familiar with this season. For those who are, well, good for you. We're gonna do a proper introduction really to this season, to the drivers, to this whole format, how it works next week when the first round kicks off. So we're gonna start the stream a little bit earlier. But for today, we're not gonna introduce too much, maybe just a tiny bit. This league is really all about, you know, trying really the different cars for every single season on the Assetto Corsa game. And this year, well, this season for at least, they're gonna do the Formula 4 car from another developer. It's not, is it actually, like a clear mod really, nothing else. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's almost so much preparation going into the season, which is why we also have such a long break all the time.
Yeah, we like the long break, so it gives us a chance to recharge, although everyone wants to be racing.
Everyone wants to be racing indeed, yeah. I mean, we can't really say too much at the moment really about the drive and stuff like that. We can talk a little bit though about the calendar, which is gonna you know, spice up a little bit things a little bit this season. We're gonna have a different race format once again. We will have a mixture of endurance races and sprint races. The endurance races are gonna last 1 hour long, with our special, you know, qualifying format that we will explain later on when the qualifying session starts. And the sprint races will consist of 2 25-minute races, basically what we have seen really in the previous 2 seasons, in the Audi TT Cup and in the Porsche Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Was it for season 3? What was this Porsche Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also worth mentioning, there was no one who was able to defend their title yet. So we have had 4 different champions in 4 different seasons, and the champion from season 4 is not even here in season 5 as well. So we will either have a new champion or a champion from previous season again.
Well, that's all to come.
Yep, definitely. And Phil, do you want to introduce us to the track we are here at today?
I can do. It's a track that some people love, some people don't. It's some people's favourite Italian track. It's some people's least favourite Italian track. What I can say is it's a track that's very different to the other Italian tracks out there. It's not got the sweeps of Mugello, and it's not got the long straights of Monza, which means it must be the other one that isn't San Marino, because that's a MotoGP track, which makes it Imola.
Yeah, I think Imola really a great track, I have to say, especially like for, you know, cars that also are a little bit like slower than the absolute top end cars like the F1 cars, etc. I think it's a great track really for a car like this. We will drive here for this season, in my opinion.
I certainly think so, yeah. It does seem to fit, because you got a lot of corners, a lot of slow corners in a lot of places that make, and a lot of chicanes here and there that make driving anything that has huge amounts of aero, like an F1 car or anything faster, just a little bit too, I don't know. They're not particularly designed for that, it doesn't seem. Perhaps old style F1, as the Imola used to be used back then.
Yeah.
Seemed to fit it a little bit better, just because there was less aero dependence. But now you race an F1 car around this track, and it's pretty much just going to be a straight line. But bring an F4 car here, and I mean, based on what I've driven so far in that car, I think we should be in for something quite special.
Yeah, it's obviously the first time since season 2 we are back in an open wheeler, and that, you know, might favor some people and might not favor some people. We had various performance, you know, ups and downs, especially between season 3 and 4, where some people were just so good in the Formula 3 car back then, and really had problems in the next season in a non-open wheeler car. So maybe those people might be back for this season again. I think also to mention, I guess, normally we had 8 races or 8 rounds basically per season. This has stacked up now to 10 races, as you have seen in the calendar. That is definitely something to mention as well. And I think we can, I guess, talk a little bit about qualifying, as the practice session is now about to end. While I will try at least to figure out how to get on track with the guys towards the end of the practice session. Yeah, practice session. That's a weird word, isn't it? Right. So here we can see the lovely Imola circuit, and we can see the end of the practice session, and we have got a familiar name for the league at least. On top of the standings at the moment, we have got Matt Shimmy, who's currently in the pits at the moment. Well, old known name as Matt, still driving for the same team. Obviously with Stark Industries. We can't see him on the track, so we're gonna go to someone else. We're gonna go to non-run. But yeah, I mean, we'll have a lot of new people as well this season in here, so it's definitely gonna be also a challenge for us once again to keep up with things really, and at the start of the season.
I feel like we have trouble keeping up with things that don't change, so imagine what it's like when they all start going different.
Yeah, definitely. For this pre-season race, we should mention it's going to be the sprint race format, so we're going to have a qualifying session, which we will talk a little bit in a bit once this practice session ends. Non-runner coming across the line now. Final lap of his qualifying ended, and he does not improve. He's still in P8. And yeah, that's the conclusion of qualifying, and you can see there on the not so shiny graphics really what the practice session looks like. We have a new guy in second place, Bernard Vella, from the team of who joined RPM Esports, who obviously were a very successful team last season, with Keith Camilleri and Terence Gretsch in particular, who are also returning for this particular season. And they have another new guy at the moment, which I think it's not allowed to have 4 people on, but it says on the list here anyway. It's Brandon Tabone. Let's see if Brandon Tabone is also in this session. I don't think so. Maybe he is a reserve. That could be as well. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about new people when we see them on the track. And yeah, qualifying is underway. Phil, do you want to explain how qualifying in this series works?
Well, that depends. Are we still going with the same qualifying as last year? Of course,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is the same qualifying system as last year.
I knew that. So, qualifying is sort of like a similar to a Super Bowl type situation, where qualifying cars go out in groups of 5 or 6 usually, and they go out and they do their times. They have 1 lap, they have a warm-up, they go out the pits, they get the warm-up, and then they get to go. Whilst they're on their fast laps, the next group will come out. They will start to do their warm-up laps as they pass, because then obviously you won't meet anyone on track by doing that, and it all keeps it nice and flowing. But it just keeps a lot of cars off the track, so that you don't have to have a huge mess of people all on the track at the same time. Unlike Super Bowl, of course, they do not go to a super pole. It's just the lap times get set in the different groups, and they are where you qualify depending on, obviously, the lap times.
Yep. In this group is actually going to be very interesting. We have Keith Camilleri, one of the protagonists from season 4, very strong there season from Keith Camilleri, finishing I think in 3rd in the championship it was last season. And then we have got one of the, well, I think apart from Pops, the only champion that is still in this league, which is Laxo, season 3 champion. Did not compete in season 4, but it's good to have him back.
Oh yeah, we love to have people that return, especially top quality drivers, yeah, such as Pops.
Yep, definitely. But Mr. Alcon is the first one to go on the flying lap. Do you want us to give basically, you know, a hot lap experience round Imola?
I will try to. As I think, I haven't actually mentioned over the air, but my internet is a little bit funny. So it may look strange to me, but at least I know the track, so I can tell you sort of what's happening. But as I'm watching Mr. Alcon, he's jumping backwards and forwards down the main straight, but at least it's going down the main straight. I know how that goes. You want to go through this slight curve here, and then you get a little bit of a curve left. Now, some people like to keep it all the way to the left. You see Mr. Alcon, he's not. He's going to run it out, and you got a little kink to the left here, but you start braking just after that, and you go through this tight, tricky chicane, 1, 2, and then this sweeper of 3, running down into this next chicane. This is a really tricky little chicane, this one. Getting it left, you've got to swing it through here, but you've got to keep it relatively close to the left so that you can actually open up the right, and then you want to run all over the curbs. Very nice there, coming down into the hairpin of 6. This is really tricky to get the braking all right and then get on the throttle without losing the rear. Run it out wide, up the hill. We're coming up to one of the fastest, well, probably the fastest corner on the circuit, the double left apex at the top of the hill here. You want to chuck it through. Keep it on the track. Don't want to run wide. Used a lot of curb. Just keep it tracked back in. Just shoots the car back towards the circuit. And then through Acqua Minerale down. This is the trickiest corner on the circuit, I think. Getting all the braking right. And there's Mr. Alcon going around. Showing you what I was saying. It's the most tricky, one of the tricky corners on the circuit, going down the hill and then braking whilst essentially turning and then back up the hill. It's really, really hard. Into this awkward little chicane. Right, left. Keep run it as wide as you can without running off the circuit. Use as much. There's not really a curb there. It's just astroturfs, and then you run down the hill into the final 2 corners. Downhill. It's blind here, but it's easy enough to know where you're going. Brake hard. Left-hander. Keep it out wide. Use the curb to sort of fling yourself through this next left-hander. Run it up onto the curbs as much as you can without going off the circuit again, and then running all the way to the line. Go through this little curve, and the line is just up ahead. And now, Mr. Alcon crosses the line.
151.6. Obviously, with that spin he had, not really good. Dangerous Ginetta going in provisional pole position at the moment. And Laxo going with a 146.6. So that's the first benchmark everyone needs to have a look at. We have got the next group coming up already. And that is, for example, wait, Nostra's already on the lap. That's interesting. Or he's either very, very late on his lap. The next lap consists of Mike Randa, Tom Bridle, Bernard Vella, who was very strong in the practice session, the rookie, Terence Gretsch, Jeffrey Langerak, also a new guy, and Nick Meadow. But we're going to go on board with the first guy of this group, as we normally do, with Mike Randa. A very, very interesting guy, someone who has hooked up various podiums and race wins over the few seasons, but never was really able to be there on the top level on a consistent basis, really. So we will be able to see what he can do back in this open wheeler car. A wheeler car, obviously still sticking with Hoonigan Racing. This time in a blue machine, well, it was in a pink machine the last couple of seasons. Very, very tidy through turns 1, 2, 3. And also through turns 4 and 5 into the hairpin we go. And out we go once again. It looks like a lot more tidier than what we saw from Mr. Alcon. Maybe something we should mention as well. It was a thing in this series for all the seasons so far that the drivers did not know the track before the actual practice session started 40 minutes before the race. So basically they came in with no practice, with no setup basically. But they changed that up a little bit. They know the tracking beforehand. They will have like a fixed setup. There's going to be still a fixed setup. They're not going to be able to change the setup too much. But, as Mr. Micron makes a huge mistake in the chicane, that's going to cost them lots of time. And that's just really, really tricky with this, you know, if you have only one lap available.
Yeah, it really is. This is one of the formats where you hate it as a driver. Well, there are some drivers that relish this. They absolutely love this kind of stuff.
I know that you hate it.
I hate it. I can't drive worth rubbish in qualifying. I mean, I can't qualify with 10 laps. So I mean, I'm hopeless with 1.
Mike Miranda probably agrees with you, as he has completely spun it out of the final corner. Straight into the wall, back into the pits. Tom Bridle crossing the line. What he can do, the veteran of this league, 147.2, puts him up into provisional 4th. And Bernard Vella goes up into P number 2. 3/10 shy of Lax, so Terence Gretsch crossing the line. And the others will cross the line in this group as well, as we are now coming towards the next group already. And that is led by Matt Shimmy. So the leader of this practice session is now going to start his lap. And we always wish that Matt finally gets a season where he can put his whole potential at stake, really. He has been such a talented driver in this league, and he has just not been really able to pick up consistent podium finishes, really, to challenge for a potential championship position in the top 3. So we will see what he can do. Obviously, this is a pre-season test, so it's only gonna, you know, be able to, for the drivers to show some muscles here and there, but it's not gonna, you know, count towards anything, really. It's also a good, you know, test for us to get back on board, I guess.
You'd hope so. It's an interesting point you make about the calendar actually being visible for everyone, and having the knowledge going into it, like pretty much every other racing series. Obviously here, though, this is going to be interesting to see which drivers that helps and which drivers that hinders.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. It's definitely going to be interesting. Well, you will probably maybe see over the course of the season who will practice a little bit more, who will practice a little bit less. But obviously, Bala, that's Matt out of the lap.
It is indeed. He lost the rig coming up through Akman Rally, and he's just parked it. So that's interesting. So Sansuke is now the lead person on this group, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, the Finnish drivers have been traditionally strong in this league. We've had Race Fanatic obviously winning season 4, then we had Laxus winning season 3. Tansuke was one of the strongest guys in this league for the last 2 seasons as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting how Sansuke does in this open readers, because we've never seen him in the open readers so far. So we will see how he does, how the final corner he comes. And then we have obviously Sisu Voima still coming up later on, another Finn who is incredibly quick. And Sansuke goes provisionally P6, 1.3 seconds behind Black, so that is maybe a tiny surprise at least. And who's gonna go who's still on track? Domino is coming, where is he actually? Oh yeah, he's coming.
He's just coming through the final part now.
Yeah,
unfortunately for Marvin Sluman, he, much like Matt, has had to pull off. Domino goes into 8th.
Yeah, puts him up ahead of Terence Gretsch, just 1/10 ahead. We're still waiting for Evan, T147, obviously. Very, very known around the AOR endeavors. Coming round the final corner. Also part of Stark Industries this year, together with Matt and Fizzy. AOR Fizzy is joining this league, everyone. We have not mentioned that yet, but we will surely see him on track very, very shortly in this qualifying session again, and see how he does in, you know, a league that is completely unknown to him. Evan goes 10th for the moment, 4 seconds off. He clearly had something going on this lap, which wasn't really at plan. And for me, the next car on the lap is David Siska, if I'm not mistaken.
That looks to be correct. Behind that, you've got VSR Iceberg now, is that?
Yes.
Iceberg is an old Iceberg.
Yeah, we know Iceberg as well, obviously.
Okay.
Oh, David Siska.
He's now part of VSR.
Oh. Oh, okay. We should remember that maybe for the rest of the season.
Well, his name is VSR.
Ah, I see.
Silver Arrow is there as well, and obviously is it Sisu Voima?
Yeah, Sisu Voima. Silver Arrow, someone I really am curious as well, was doing very, very well in the Formula 2 car in season 2, then really dropped off. Apart from some races, I think last season towards the end where he got a little bit stronger again, especially in these reverse grid races, where he showed up in the top 5, maybe one on the other occasion, I think, at least battling for positions in that area. And yeah, he was someone really really good as well in season. Oh, that's wide there from David Siska as he saved it. I think he just has maybe the lap is invalidated, but we don't really know. We won't really know until the end of the lap. At least he seems to be very, very cautious through that section of corners now. And through the chicane we go once again. Seems like they're not taking, well, they're taking relatively much curb, but I've seen like in other racing games that that people just, even an open wheeler can just plow over the curbs and just make the, you know, run through the chicane as short as possible. Well, it doesn't seem like anyone is willing to do so here. It seems like.
It does seem to be the case. I'm just looking back through this group again. It looks like Silvera is running very slowly. I'm not sure what the intention is here from Silvera. He seems to be just sort of drifting along a little bit.
That's very weird, to be honest.
Just coasting.
And come on.
Oh, Iceberg, there you go.
Oh, Iceberg going second. That's so close to Laxo. Jesus Christ, 23 thousandths of a second. And that is, you know, a relative surprise, I would say. And then we've got Fizzy in this Stark Industries car. But it is Dazzy Oz who will be on the first one on this final. No, it's not the last, by far not the final group, really. I think there are a few more coming. Sisu Voima going 16th, 203.9.
Yeah, he seems to be driving along a little bit coastally as well.
Yeah, maybe they just want to get some race practice in. I don't know. I mean, it's nothing, you know. You're not going to gain anything, really. I think it's maybe a smart decision, really, to get some racing experience with these guys. Yeah,
just looking at this, actually, you said obviously Fizzy's in this group. The other two Stark Industry boys are not particularly high. Obviously, Matt had his mistake, and Evan is 4 seconds off the pace. Yeah. Could Fizzy, on his opening race, be the front man for this race for Stark Industries? Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could well and truly be. You wouldn't really expect Fizzy to be 4 seconds off the pace if he puts a reasonable lap together.
Exactly. Even in the practice session, I think he was 10th, only a second and a half or so off the lead. So you'd expect, without a mistake, cursing him as he drives up the hill, he should be all right.
Yep, definitely. Does he also have very, very aggressive there on this double right-hander down the hill, but very, very tidy, I have to say. So
unlike Astra Aslani, who's crashed into the barriers.
Oh dear.
Coming out to Ackerman Rally, another person caught out by that corner.
Yeah.
Fizzy takes it quite cleanly, maybe just ran over the curbs a little bit. I'm not sure if that counts as invalidation or not. It looked like it was probably just okay into this chicane, which we know he absolutely loves. He doesn't. Yeah, he always struggles with the exit there. Coming out, he just kicks the curb a little bit. The car just unsettles and he can't get down the throttle as much as he'd like, as early as he'd like. But coming down the hill he goes. As Dazzy Oz, where is he now? He's in the pit.
Yeah,
in 7th, there you go. Not bad from Dazzy Oz. Astra Aslani obviously, well, he hit the wall, but he looks like he's going to continue the lap anyway.
And Fizzy coming across the line in very, very moment. Astra Aslani going 15th for the moment. Here goes Fizzy, and Fizzy goes up into 8th position, so Fizzy will be indeed the highest Stark Industry boy here on the grid. Which is definitely not something we expected.
Yeah. 1.2 seconds off Laxo as well, so that's pretty impressive for a first time, you'd think, anyway. Yeah, an interesting one from Astra Aslani. He hit the barriers, he spun around, and just by completing the lap, he's defaulted himself to be ahead of like 10 other drivers.
Oh, wow. That's very, very interesting. Next group, well, Duck just came across the line, also a new guy in the league, doing very, very solid qualifying in 8th. It seems to be like quite a gap between 8th and 9th at the moment. Next group coming up, non-runner, another Finnish driver who has got a few wins under his belt last season. I think 2 it was, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure about every stat, really. We will get a little bit more information, obviously, next week when we do the driver introductions. And we will be a little bit more up to date as well with the liveries and who is in which team, etc, etc, etc. But for now, we are concentrating on non-runners qualifying lap very, very aggressive on the inside curb there in turn 5. I've seen that from multiple people actually so far in this qualifying session. Through the hairpin we go. Very, very nicely done as well by him. And I think this might actually be the final qualifying group if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, unless we're going to qualify, I believe that is the case.
Okay, well, you can qualify. I'm not sure if your car would be actually quicker than these guys.
I reckon I could beat any... I think I would be faster than all the people that didn't set a lap.
Oh, well, that's for certain, I guess.
Yeah. You'd hope so anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say though as well, one-shot qualifying is not really so your strength, so you might not even set a lap at all.
This is a strong point, and because I'd be in the final group, my base time just crossing the line would be slower than everyone's as well, so wouldn't be good.
No,
but
definitely
that
not.
aside, non-runner comes down into the second to last corner.
Yup. Monster AMG Racing is the team he is in. I'm not sure who are his teammates. I'm going to check later on when we have the qualifying results open. And for now, he's coming across the line very, very shortly. And the Finnish driver will put himself up into 7th position. My god, that is pretty close there between 5th and 8th at the moment.
It is indeed. In comes Meekster. And Meekster pops himself up into 10th, pushing Fizzy out of the top 10. Where have we got else? Claessens comes into 18th and pushes down to 19th as Zedian crosses the 15th. And I believe we have one. Do we have one more car on track?
We have Wilkie crossing the line, and another one who was on an outlap, I think. Wilkie, obviously a returning driver to this league. Good to have him back. P22 for him for the moment. Probably not the most ideal lap as well. And there's another guy, which is Quintin now.
Matthew Clip as well. Matthew Clip seems to still be out on the track.
Oh yeah.
So Quintin, and I wonder if there wasn't a final group of 2 or 3 people coming around.
I think Matthew had just very, very slow lap. He's gonna go across the line very, very shortly, whereas Quintin was just later than anyone really in this group for some reason.
Okay.
It's a very, very cool livery, I have to say, that Quintin is running. National Instruments is the team is called, I think. Who is in that team, actually? Who is in that team? Okay, maybe that is not the team's name. I'm not sure.
Oh, look at that.
Alright, I'm a little bit confused at the moment, but we will, we will sort things out really at the latest for the first round next season. And it's not long to go really until we know where the final finisher of this qualifying session will come. And I should maybe mention that my overlay only shows 28 drivers. I cannot change that unfortunately, so we will be able to see obviously the full grid in a bit. But yeah, during the race we will only see the top 28 here on this timing sheet unless I scroll down and go. Oh my god, that is Quintin Round. He touched the curb there on the outside. You should not be able to, you should not really brake on the curb there on the outside in the penultimate corner, and that what looked like a clean lap has been a little bit ruined by that, and he's the final one to cross the line very, very shortly. And we will be able to see where he will be lining up. It is P24 pushing Astrid Asmani down, and that concludes the qualifying session. Well, obviously we have quite huge gaps towards the end of the field. Obviously, pre-season test, new car for everyone. People need to get used to it, but it seems really close here. The top 10 within a second. That's not really normal for this league. Oh,
no, it certainly isn't.
Yeah. And only 23 thousandths of a second between the top 2 Finnish drivers. And yeah, this is the grid, and I think... There we go, now I can see my car as well. Oh, I can't go back to the pits. Okay, let's have a look then at the positions. Unfortunately, I cannot... Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. I cannot see really the positions. That is a little bit unfortunate. But Phil, do you want us to go through the grid with yeah? Do you want to go through the grid?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll go through the top 10 and then I'll shoot out into the other group so I can do my pace lap.
Okay.
Okay, so on the pole position, we have the one and only Laxo. Next to him, lining up beside him, is Iceberg, another Finn, and then oh god, I was about to say two poles, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. They look, I don't know the flag. I like to pretend I know flags, but I don't. But that's Bernard Villa in third and Keith Camilleri in fourth. They are teammates, though, that I know.
Yeah.
Dangerous Gianetta is fifth with Tom Brown on sixth. Non-runner is seventh with Dazioz lining up beside him in eighth. Doc, who's a league in ninth, and Meekster is 10th. I will now pace car it.
Yes.
So I will see you at the start of the race.
Yes, good luck. And there goes Phil. We will obviously have, well, not obviously, but we will have a flying start. A rolling start, not a flying start. A rolling start. For this race, and not a standing start. I should have maybe mentioned that a little bit earlier, but yeah, this is how the league is basically going to happen, and we are now waiting for these lights to go out, and then I will retire. There's someone not on the grid, which is a little bit concerning, and now I can retire back to the pits, and now I can hopefully. Oh, that's Terrence Scratch. Interesting. That is. Let's go back on board with the top guys. Sorry, I'm just going through this. There we go. This is the onboard from Laxo. There is Phil up ahead, and we are going on for this. Ooh, that's close. I think Laxo enjoying messing around really. And there you can see on the left hand side how this grid really looks, and we will go, I guess, through the other than the top 10, we will have a look at the other drivers as well, because obviously with those who did not set a time, we don't really know where they will stack up. So in P number 10 we had Doc, that is obvious. Then we had Mixta in P number 11, and we have Fizzy in P number 12, the highest car from his team, as we mentioned earlier. Then Sansuke. Which team is he actually in this season? Is that Neon Racing? I see there. Neon Racing, yes, no? It might be Neon Racing. Come on, give me a better shot at this car. Ah, I can't see it. That's just sad. Anyway, we have Cheeky Monkey in 14th. Also a new guy in this league. Oh, no, maybe. No, we can't. Anyway, David Siska in P number 15, William Sedian, another rookie in 16th, and then we got Berserkmere, Niklas Domino, Terrence Gretsch, Claessens, who is back in this league. Then we have PW with a weird thingy, and then X. So that's definitely an interesting game attack. I'm not sure if that is even correctly displayed on my screen. Then we have Evan into P22. Then we have Wilkie. Then we've got Mr. Alcon. Then we've got Quintin, another rookie in this in this league. Then Astrid Aslani, Nostra. Then we've got Jeffrey Langerak, and then Matthew Clip, who we saw earlier. Sisu Boima, definitely got someone to watch out for overtakes in this race. Silver Arrow, Microlander, Nick Nido, Matt, and Marvin Sluman rounding up this field, and Pops, obviously the defending champion in this, in an open wheeler car in P36 to conclude this field. So with Phil now blasting off into the distance, we're gonna wait for Laxo to release the field. It's gonna be a single filed start, and whenever they come around the final corner, Laxo has the opportunity to blast away to see what he can do for this pre-season race, first pre-season race of the season. And when will the Finnish driver decide to release itself? Then you can see a big gaggle of cars everywhere, and it seems like that Vela is very, very close, it seems like, to Iceberg here. And here we go, Laxo waiting very, very long indeed. We are underway. There we go, underway. Here goes Laxo. And it has been a very, very good start for Iceberg, actually. I think he might be even alongside here into turn number 1. Oopala, a little bit of lag going on there for me. But it is, with going into turn number 1, Laxo defending the inside line, and he's been able to defend the position. Hello, welcome back, Phil.
Hello.
Oh, there's the first off there, Bernard Vella.
Iceberg as well.
Oh yeah, both are off. And that gets Keith Camilleri up into P number 2. Third in the championship is now, from last season, is now up into third. Tom Bridle up into third, and non-runner up into 4th.
Yeah, other than that, it looked like it was a pretty clean start for most people, other than the incident. I believe we're starting again then.
Oh, we're starting again. Oh, we're starting again.
It must have been an issue.
Okay. That is interesting. This is why we have a pre-season race, really, and this is why we are doing this. Probably because I'm not kind of sure why we're doing this, but maybe because some issues happened. Maybe that lag I noticed.
That lag spike, yes.
Yeah, that was a huge lag spike there. I think that everyone got that one.
Yeah, I noticed it as well. Yeah, I think it caused a pretty big crash, from what I understand. Yes.
Yep. So we will do.
I get to go and drive around the track again.
You can drive around the track again. That is very, very brilliant. I'm running out of topics here to talk about, really.
Well, you can talk about the fact that this week, and in this test session, it's going to be slightly different for certain things.
Certain things.
So, Nostra has told me that for this race and this race only in the test session, the reverse grid will be every single car, but come the season, it will be only the top 15.
Oh,
and I'm going to go into the other group.
That is a major change up, really. Yeah, for this season, obviously we had this, this reverse grid for the full grid, really, for the last 2 seasons. And that is definitely going to spice up some things. It's going to make it even more rewarding, really, if you're at the front. And it's going to be harder, really, to for guys who are struggling to get into the top 15 here to get really, really good positions here at the start of a race. But we will see how this all pans out. Obviously, it's going to be maybe a little bit more difficult to overtake in this car because you do not have... you do not possess the overtake button, which we had last season in the Audi TT Cup, where they had to push to pass 8 times. Well, depending on where you started, you had more or less push to passes per race available, and that made some very, very interesting racing, and also made some very, very cool battle. Created some very, very cool battles, obviously, and so yeah, that effect is now obviously gone, and overtaking might be a little bit more difficult once again. I'm not sure if you see this, but for me, Laxo's steering angle goes absolutely nuts everywhere. Every single time he turns into the corner. I've not seen that for any other car than Laxo, really, so I'm not sure what this is, but yeah, we're going on to another formation lap here, and then we'll have a 15 lap race once again. And yeah, we obviously hope that oh, it seems like that someone is not on the grid. There we go. Oh yeah, that is Bernard Vella, who was not... There we go. He has not started. Yeah, he was not on the grid, so he's now probably gonna overtake many people here. And since everyone is in the Discord, they should be able to let him through very, very easily. Hopefully that happens quite smoothly. Seems like so, at least. It's now back up to P number 12 already. Back to P number 11. Past Fizzy. There we go. By the next one. And yeah, it's very, very good to see that this is also, you know, happening, or you know, that people that the grid is able to do this by just being in together in the chat all the time. and receiving orders from the coordinators if needed. And yeah, we're going into now. Everyone is really in their normal positions once again, and we can wait for Phil to blast off into the distance again. I think that's going to happen very, very shortly. Let's go on board with him. No, actually not like that. Like this. Oh, still not. There we go. Bye, Phil. This lovely McLaren livery, and into the final corner we go. Don't spin. That would be hilarious if Phil would actually spin as a pace car, but he's too skilled, obviously, to do that. You know that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a pace car. And then we're gonna wait for Laxo once again. He waited quite long last time. He really waited until the last second to make something, you know, to make something happen, to start the race. Hopefully this time, well, not hopefully, but you know, maybe this time he will do it a little bit quicker. And here we go, towards the line we come again. When is Laxo gonna release the field here for the second time? Here we go, once again he waited until the last second again, and we're going into turn number 1 again, hopefully with lesser issues than we noticed last time out. Into turn number 1 we go, Laxo in front in the Bernard Vella against Iceberg in the background, and I think we didn't have a lag spike this time round.
Oh, no lag spike. A little incident in the back there between Silver Arrow and Jeffrey Langerak.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have butchered that name. Astra Aslani looks like he's off the track a little bit as well. And also Nick Meadow. I wonder if he's just waiting for someone.
But up in front, Laxo's already pulling away. Bernard Vella up into P number 2, and Iceberg has lost 2 positions after the start, as Keith Camilleri, his teammate, also went, no, not his teammate, that's the teammate of Bernard Vella, went through as well. Tom Bridle up the inside there in the background on Dangerous. Ginetta not quite able to make that move stick. Non-runner in the mix there as well. And it is a gaggle of cars really behind in the midfield. There's ups and down the field. Battling everywhere in these first couple of laps. Obviously, yeah.
As you're saying, there were a few side-by-sides all running around. Dazzy Oz was going side-by-side with Meekster. He's dropping back, and now Fizz is overtaken, although Fizz has been tucked on the rear by Sansuke, and Fizz has been spun around, coming through Variante Alta. And, oh, someone's spinning on their own there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and another crash. Oh, hi. Pox. Is it Pox? I'm going to call him Pox. I don't know if that's an actual real name. Pox. And Microlander, unfortunately, looked like they had a little coming together as well.
So completing the first lap, Laxo leading by 3.4 seconds after the first lap. That is quite interesting, to say the least. Bridle now attacking Dangerous Ginetta once again for the second time in this race. You will have the inside line for turn number 1. And I think if Tom Bridle is able to nail the braking here, he will take that position away. Upala very, very close between the 2 drivers. Tom Bridle up into 5th position for the moment.
Certainly is, and now Dangerous might have to be wary of non-runner behind.
Oh yeah.
Go slightly defensive into this corner. But that will open him up for the next one. Oh, that's a car up there. Bernard Vella.
P number 3 is off, and that's going to drop him down multiple positions. He's now back behind Dazios in P number 10. And there seems to be a huge gap after Fizzy in 19th.
Yes, really. I was just going to mention that Sansuke behind Fizz is nowhere near him. And I wonder if that's due to the fact that Sansuke is the one that hit Fizz. And I wonder if loads of other people had to slow up because of that incident.
Yeah, it could be.
But that, yeah, there's sort of like all the cars behind Sansuke are relatively spread out. And they just continue to go in like a sort of consistent long train, apart from, well, Mike Gerlander, Parks and Nick Meadow are a little bit further back, and then there's all the other cars just sort of tagging on the back. But who have we got there? Non-runner, like I say, he's really tanging Dangerous Ginetta by the looks of it. And Bernard Vella looks like he's coming back at Dazzy Oz here. Trying coming down the inside, not quite. Ooh, look at this. Cheeky Monkey versus Bernard Vella. Here we go. Side by side. David Siska watching on, hopefully. This is interesting. We saw Bernard Vella went defensive really early. That's going to make it really difficult for Cheeky Monkey to pass around the outside here. I know that the next part of the chicane would obviously be the inside line if you try to go around the outside of part 1, but it's such a tight little chicane that holding around the outside there is very, very tricky.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into the chicane though, but yeah, it always seems like sometimes that they lose. Oh my god, that's too wide there from Cheeky Monkey. That's going to allow David Siska to go around the outside. But I think Cheeky Monkey might actually be able to hold on to that position as Berserk me now having a look as well. Very good battling here, going up and down the field, inside line now for Cheeky Monkey, and he will defend that position successfully against David Siska for the moment.
Yeah, those 3-4 having that nice little battle there between themselves, allowing Claessens and Terence Gretsch to close up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's a slight gap back to Evan, who is being chased by Fizz actually. So Fizz catching up to his long time, let's call them rival, but teammates. Although as he'll want to beat him very much.
Oh yeah,
as Meekster has passed Doc. I don't know if that was new or not.
That's interesting. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I think it was a legitimate overtake because Doc was really on the back of non-runner half a lap ago, and now he's going straight, you know, attack Meekster once again in the PCDC car. Such a long straight here. I think we've used side by sides for, you know, already at the start of the straight is maybe not really the best thing. Mixed up with the inside line now, and ooh, there's Doc around the outside there. Can he hold on? Side by side into turn number 3 as well, and there are still side by side. Mixed will have the inside line for the first part of the chicane. Can Doc hold around the outside once again? He does.
This is more tricky, but he's going to contact.
Yeah.
It's so you have to be travelling at very, very slow speeds around that right hand to be able to keep on that inside without causing any contact. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to manage to do that. That's going to allow both, well, a whole host of cars, and just about, is it letting Fizz through? Oh no, Fizz is giving Doc a lot of room there.
Yep, definitely. I think Doc might be able to hang on to that position, although Fizz is still very, very close. He's not being able to make that position. It's going to move one place between Fizzy and Evan, one car. He seemed very, very strong in the beginning of the race. Laxo leading, by the way, after 4 laps of running. 6 seconds is the gap. He was already obviously leading by 4.5 seconds after lap 1 almost, because of all that shenanigans happened behind. But Keith Camilleri is also able to pull away from Iceberg quite considerably, and Tom Bridle starting to close in.
Yeah, it looks like there's a whole train of cars just sort of all lining up, just taking it a little bit easier right now. Not really attempting too many passes, as I say, that Doc gets his braking a little bit wrong. And just saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, yeah.
And so almost went straight into the back of Evan. Luckily he did not. As Claessens, is that Claessens making a move?
Yeah, Claessens on the move.
Yes.
Terence Gretsch, yeah.
Boom, ahead already. I wonder if that means Terence possibly had a mistake coming out of the corner.
Terence tried to go off the inside once again, but the door was shut there from Claessens. And Claessens
has gone deep. He's gone deep and he's gone. This is going to give Terence a good potential run out all the way down to the second chicane.
Oof.
As he's closing. Is he going to be able to get a move here? This is the thing, if you're on the inside here, you've got to make sure you get really far ahead, because otherwise the car on the outside is just going to have the inside line like that. Then there you go. Oh wow, this is great driving from Terence. They're able to get the switch back. Didn't see that one coming. Claessens just went a bit too deep coming into the second part of that corner. I was expecting him to keep it nice and tidy, but no, Terence takes the initiative and straight past, back past. Very nice.
Yep. Very nice move there, or defensive driving really from Terence Gretsch after being passed really at the start of the lap, coming back at Claessens straight away.
Yeah. Well, something I've noticed is Meekster's down in 15th. Do we see him have an off at some point? Because he was right up there with.
Yeah, and Doc was also.
Yeah, Doc. So I wonder then if both of those two had a potential thing. Well, no, because we saw.
Or Fizzy as well, because he's now way
He's dropped
behind
a
Evan
bit back.
as well.
Yeah. I wonder if that means the thing Meeks dropped him back and straight into the path of Fizz. Oh, as I say that, Evan goes around at the variant outer chicane.
Oh, yeah.
On the exit, spins around into the barrier. And so he'll be able to keep it going, but there goes his teammate past him.
You definitely.
Of Matt, that is.
Yeah, that's the us went past Ben people, but Bernard Vella, there we go.
Yes.
Able to pronounce the name, but it's now in the slipstream. Let's see how good the slipstream is in this car. It seems like it's not really that much. But Bernard Vella is closing in on Dacios. He's up the inside into turn number 1, but Dacios very late on the brakes.
I think Bernard probably a little early on the brakes as well. A combination of both made it look very more extreme than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, look at this. David, Siska, Berserkmere and Domino all having a great little battle here.
And David Siska at the end of that train, Nicholas Domino at the front. 2 veterans of the deal. Well, these 3 are veterans of this league by now, really. Both of them have done more than 2 seasons. Nicholas Domino, I think, is part of this league since season 1, and there's also Cheeky Block doing most of the liveries, and also provided pretty much all the graphics really for this broadcast here tonight. So huge shout out to him. He's doing such well, quite a lot really for this league. He's currently running in the top 10. Even that is David is having a huge wiggle out of that double right-hander. That's going to lose him a number of positions. Behind Claessens, he falls. He should be able to rejump in front of Meekster. Yes, yes, I think so. Yeah. Well, that's going to move him down a couple of positions and out of that battle for the moment.
It is now Meekster versus Fizz. Oh, look at that! Well, shutting the door. No compromise there. He's now defensive, and no, Fizz isn't going to attempt anything here. It's one thing you can be sure about with Fizz racing. He doesn't try silly moves.
No, very, very composed all the time. Exactly what he always does what he needs to do. Finish the races. He's very, very good at that, at least, definitely. And
oh, look at that battle between Berserkmere and Domino continues. Berserkmere goes all the way around the outside at turn number 1, and his braking there was so supreme. He just clean went around the outside of Domino. He didn't even have to worry about going side by side to the next part. He was gone.
Yeah. It was Berserkmere as well, who was really not having the strongest of showings really in this league so far. There was at the end of last season where we sometimes saw glimpses where he was really fighting up there in the reverse grid races, especially keeping, you know, his nose clean and getting solid points home. So yeah, that is definitely a very think a drive so far from him. Who did I see there? Meekster overtaking David Siska in the background?
He did. There was David Meekster, and I think it was around the outside of the hairpin of David Siska. Now that gives an opportunity for Fizz and Non-Runner actually right behind Fizz. And who's that behind Non-Runner? It's Matt. So that's quite a strong group of cars there. Oh, what have we got?
Fizzy made a kind of
so he did.
Switch there.
And now he's going to get passed by his teammate and Non-Runner. That might not be the worst thing for Fizz to have his teammate right ahead of him. He's a fast-charging Matt. You know that he has speed, so if you can use him to hopefully follow through, that could work. As Domino down the inside of Berserk, oh, that's contact! As Berserkmere gets shoved off the circuit. I don't know whether he saw Domino down the inside, but I think Domino possibly a little bit too late on the brakes. But there you go, Berserkmere through, and oh, but now Domino is losing a whole heap of time out as he's given up. He's obviously giving back the position to Berserkmere, and some by the looks of it. As Matt, all 3 wide. That's what we like to see. 3 wide, Berserkmere, Non-Runner, and Matt all running side by side. Berserkmere actually backs out, probably rather sensibly, allows Non-Runner and Matt to run through.
And Matt now go up the inside of Non-Runner here. It's gonna be tight. He backs out of it.
Yeah, but he forces Non-Runner to go deep into that corner, which is going to compromise him on the exit. You see, Matt's now going to have a second chance potentially into the hairpin. Maybe he's going to go for the switchback here rather than the full around the outside manoeuvre. In fact, he doesn't sort of really have any sort of going for a squeeze. You're going to have more momentum coming out the corner.
Brilliant.
Here we go up the hill. We will have the inside.
If he makes that move stick, there would be a brilliant move by Matt, and he does make it stick up the inside of non-runner up into P13, who the man who started in P35, do not forget. So Matt, who was one of the fastest guys in the practice session, I think he was the fastest guy in the practice session, doing great progress so far in this race. But while that happens, up in front, it is really, you know, it seems like Laxo has never left this league. He is leading by 7.8 seconds over Keith Camilleri, who is no slouch whatsoever, with finishing third in the championship, obviously last season, getting multiple podiums under his belt. And yeah, it is really, you know, the Laxo we know, really, from previous seasons. Well, as I said, he has a huge wiggle there in the chicane, but and it seems like that Iceberg has actually maintained a little bit of his composure, really, and is now starting to...
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut across there, but Matt, I believe, has just run into the back of David Siska at the first chicane.
Oh,
and that has sent both of them round, and that's going to give a lot of positions to the cars behind. And that's unfortunate for both of those guys. Obviously, Dan Siska having a little bit of issues sometime in the race. Matt obviously starting further back as Sansuke runs off. So I just happened to switch my camera to him. So that would be my fault. Power of my camera compels him to spin.
Yeah, lots of ups and downs in the field so far, really. Lots of field recoveries already going on. I mean, our Fizzy is up in 12 once again, really. It's where he started, basically. But after being tapped by, who was it, Sansuki at the start of the race. Now back up into 12th after that wiggle as well. He had a couple of laps ago, so that's not too bad whatsoever. Ooh, that is... Who is that off? That is Evanov having a huge moment. Once again, a double right-hander. It's not his first time we see Evan round today. He's going to lose a number of positions once again. And this battle here for P number 3 is really shaping up. But Tom Bradley's not quite really close enough to close in on Iceberg, really.
No, he seems to have very... Well, obviously, he has very similar pace to the man ahead of him, but just not quite enough. Although, I mean, at this point, you'd think there must be some, if not just a tiny bit of slipstream just helping Tom Brad. Obviously, these cars don't produce a huge amount of downforce, therefore they don't punch the biggest hole in the air.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, you see it in cars that are sort of this very equally paced, that sometimes the slipstream is seemingly quite large. I mean, you ever watch a MotoGP race, for example, their bikes, they don't punch a huge hole in the air, and yet you see the bikes in the slipstream and they come at you like they've got DRS.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For some reason, some of my info box doesn't work at the moment, but you can see on the top left who we are watching at the moment, though, every single time. Always the guy who is displayed white is displayed at the moment on the screen. So if you are confused. So who have we got close together as well, apart from P number 3 and 4?
Well, we might be about to have a battle for 11th. I keep on coming back to Fizz. It started off as pure bias. I wanted to mention Fizz as much as I can, but I believe now he's about to be under attack from Clarsons, perhaps. Although, once again, I like to apparently have cursed Clarsons and sent him slightly wide at the second to last corner. But obviously, Clarsons is now behind Fizz, which means there must have been some kind of issue at some point, because his last lap was about 4 seconds off the pace of Fizz, so he's dropped behind him. But Clarsons clearly quite fast. I mean, you'd think he should be able to catch up to the car ahead.
Yeah, Sansuki as well, one of the only ones who's in the 46s at the moment, with Matt together actually, 46.5 from Matt last lap. So
and then Berserkby's up as well. Berserkby's obviously quite quick, and he's just behind Clarkson. So Fizz, over the next few potential laps, I think Sansuke might be a little bit too far back. Although, I mean, if he keeps that pace up, perhaps not.
Yep,
some blistering pace.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Matt going around the outside of Doc there into turn number 1 and 2, and he made that move stick very nicely. Over to be number 16 again. This is just a typical, well, it's not a typical Matt performance, but the qualifying is maybe a little bit too extreme for the moment. But this is again a solid pace. But again, an incident drops him back a little bit as he's going quickly around that corner as well.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier about the calendar. Oh, that's Sansuke.
Sansuke.
Yeah, there you go. Sansuke back around. So that's one car that people ahead of him won't have to worry about. But yeah, no, I was saying earlier, obviously the calendar being revealed for the entire season, that's going to give people more time to practice, or at least some people will take that time to practice anyway. And I wonder if that will be the sort of thing that helps Matt. As we're talking about Matt, we're seeing side by side between Iceberg and Tom Bridle for the battle for third. This is the one you were talking about. As Tom Bridle goes round the outside at turn number 1 and takes the final podium position away from Iceberg.
Yeah, this battle was shaping up quite a bit in the last couple of laps, really, and Tom Bridle seemed to have had a little bit more pace in the car. And now he has finally made it, was close enough to Iceberg, and has made the move stick. And yeah, I mean, Tom Bridle always one to watch out, really, in every single race. He is so yeah, consistent on basis, and he was one of the drivers who was occasionally in some races in the Porsche Cup, I remember, was able to challenge Laxo in season number 3, but he was the only one. I think Laxo was season 3 was probably the most dominant season we saw in this league, really. Lewis Fanatic obviously was very dominant at the start of the season, but well, there were some others coming in really at the end of the season. It was for example Sisu Weimar, who put a couple of wins, Sansuke, non-runner, all the other Finnish guys, really, I have to admit. I think Keith Camineri also won a race, or was it Terence Quetch? One of the two. And Laguna Seca, I remember that crazy second race we once had. And
yes, that was quite good.
Indeed. So, I wonder if Iceberg can come back to this. It doesn't seem like it at the moment, to be honest. But what have we got still on the track? Berserkmere. Oh, that must have been, well, yeah, Claessens went past Berserkmere, I think, then.
No, Claessens was already ahead of Berserkmere. Berserkmere had the issue early on, and that put him behind Claessens. I believe it's Fizz that's dropped back behind Claessens and Berserkmere from 11.
Yeah. And he really has to watch out.
Oh, what's this? It's Marvin. Okay, that's a back marker. I was wondering if that was one of the front guys. No, it's just Marvin.
Yeah.
I say just Marvin.
And it was also set the fastest lap by Matt there, 146.4 last lap. So he's on the charge here, and he's going against his teammate very soon.
Well, now, I mean, with that kind of pace, it's going to be a few corners.
Oh.
And then there's the cars ahead that you have to contend with. Berserkmere versus Claessens. Well, this could be a nice little shaping fight up here for 11th between perhaps all 4 of them. The team slow each other down. Berserkmere backs out of his attack on Claessens.
Part of Hoonigan Racing once again is Berserkmere, together with Nostra most likely, and ooh, that is Claessens off. That's the Claessens off. That gives the position back to Berserkmere, and also to Fizzy and Matt there. And Laxo really slowing down. Laxo really slowing down. 147. Ooh.
Claessens locks up again.
Was that Matt? It was off yet?
I'm not sure what happened there, but there it looks like Claessens obviously had some kind of issue. I think Matt had an issue perhaps as well. He's allowed CC Woodmer through.
Yes.
And Fizzy is right on the rear end of Berserk. He's in his gearbox coming through the final corner.
Ooh, yeah.
Here we go. This is back Fizzy potentially trying to get back up to 11th. Which I believe is where he started.
Yes. Nah, he's down to 12.
12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's in his starting position after 15 laps. After all the stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
And he's now on the inside. And he's actually ahead of Berserk coming into turn number 1. Just needs to get the braking right. Spot his braking point. And Berserk is not going to have a chance to go around the outside. Although Fizz leaves him plenty of room, as Fizz does. And that's the move done up until 11th. So Fizz moves up 1 position from his starting grid, and that's probably it, I imagine, short of mistakes from the cars ahead.
Yeah, definitely. But he had a couple of himself, really, throughout this race so far. But
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously he's not guaranteed 11th. He's probably not going to get higher, but he's got a hell of a job on his hands to keep the 3 cars that are behind him, well, behind.
yeah, especially Sisu Voima and Matt might have a chance. Oh, if Matt attacks Sisu Voima here, and it's only 1.5 laps to go, really, in this race for these guys. So yeah, it's not much not long to go.
It certainly seems to be the case. It's just jumping up to see who else was close up the field. We've got Bernard Vella obviously chasing Cheeky Monkey. Something I found interesting for them is both of them set the exact same lap time last lap.
That's very, very interesting. Yeah, they've been close together for a number of laps now. Laxo started the final lap of the race. Keith Camilleri has done so too. Dangerous Ginetta in the pits.
Oh my. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if he's had some kind of drive-through penalty.
Yeah, exactly. That could mean 2 things. Either drive-through penalty, as you mentioned, or too less fuel. Matt's going past Sisu Voima.
Dangerous GNS at PLP given a 10-second time penalty for cutting on lap 14, although
well.
There's no drive-through penalty on there, so he's sort of taken that himself.
Well, maybe it was the fuel then, after all.
Well, he didn't stop, did he? He just sort of drove through.
Oh. That is very, very interesting. Maybe wants a better starting position for the second race, I don't know. That could be as well. But final lap of the race, who is still close? Non-runner and Terence Scratch, relatively close. And obviously this gaggle of cars here with Fizzy, with Berserkman, with Matt. Matt obviously got past Sisu Voima at the start of this lap, or at the end of last lap. But we will have Laxo coming around the final 2 corners. The champion from season number 3 and runner-up from season number 2 is after an absence for season 4 is going to win the first race of the pre-season testing here at Imola. Congrats to Laxo crossing the line right about now. It is Keith Camilleri who will come home in 2nd place, and Tom Bridle, who has really you know, closed the gap a little bit, I think, through the last couple of laps as well, coming home in 3rd. And the Iceberg, really, that is a surprise of the race, I would say, for me. Not someone I really expected up there. Dazio's very solid race as well, and the highest, rookie for this particular race is Bernard Vella in P6.
Yeah, he just got past. Who was he racing? It was the car ahead of him. Yeah, that was who he was racing. It was the car ahead of him, and he passed him. I think it might have been Cheeky Monkey, actually.
Ooh, side by side up to the line, Sansuke and who is it? Jeffrey Langer.
Oh, this is close. Is he going to get him? I think he is. Yes.
Oh, that must have been in the thousands of a second. Really close. Silver Arrow rounding up the top 20. David Siska Evan coming home in P22 after multiple mistakes we've seen from him this race. Then Sadie and then Doc, who really also dropped back a little bit. Nostra, we have not seen all race long, in P26. Then Matthew Clip, then Vox, I think it's called. Then we got Microlander, and we've got Pops in P29. I'm not sure if that is really where he intends to go, but Astrid Aslani coming home in 30th. Then we have got Mr. Alcon, Nicholas Domino, who had obviously multiple issues. Then we've got the other ones are in the pits. No, actually, Marvin Sluman is still on the pit in the. Oh, he's just crossed the line as well. He was, I think, lapped, and Phil is obviously last. I'm not even on the standings for some reason.
You suck.
Yeah, I know. I'm in an inconvenient car, so. So let's have a look then at this standing here. 1 minute before we start the second race. And we got Laxo, who won the race ahead of Keith Camilleri, Tom Bridle, VSR Iceberg, Dazios, Bernard Vella, Cheeky Monkey, non-runner Terence Gretsch, and Dangerous Jonathan. Where is that close finish we had? With Sansuke and... was it Sansuke and Jeffrey? Oh, that was actually... Ooh, okay. That was 1.5 tenths in the end. Interesting. I thought I was closer.
It's probably a little bit of lag here and there. Just jumping the cars backwards and forwards. It definitely was closer on that in the eyes.
Yeah, definitely.
Than perhaps on the computer.
But 33 out of 36 cars finishing the race. Exited, worth mentioning, not here today. One of the veterans of this league as well, someone who we can expect great things from as well. One of the main challengers as well from Race Fanatic last season, if there were any main challenges really in this season. And for this second race, Phil, quickly run down from the top 10 before you go.
Okay, so in this race, as I said earlier to Chris, the entire field has been reversed. However, come the season, that will not be the case. But considering that is what we have Nick Meadow on pole with Marvin Sluman in second. Wilkie is third with Domino right next to him in fourth. That's got to be a great position for Domino to potentially get a win. Mr. Alcon, fifth with Astrid Islani right behind him in sixth. Pops, the big man. He's all the way, yes, finished all the way down there seemingly. I'm not sure what happened. We're not sure. Maybe he just wanted to be at the front for this race. In seventh, Microlander, eighth. Quarks is how I should say the name in ninth with Matthew Clip in 10th, and I will go be the safety car.
Right, there goes Phil again. Sorry, by the way, that I had to skip through the drivers. I'm not sure why it does that all the time on my screen, but it just messes up the drivers' orders on the grid all the time. And yes, there's going to be one more race. There's going to be the second race. This is going to be the sprint race. Well, not the sprint race. It's going to be the reverse grid race. It's going to be also the same amount of laps. And yeah, we will obviously have 2 different types of races in this season. We will once have these 2 sprint races, which will have 6 rounds in this season. 4 rounds going to be endurance races. It's going to be 1 hour races, which can be very, very interesting. We saw some amazing racing in season number 2. If I recall it correctly, especially at Spa, which was so interesting with all the different strategies we were running, etc., etc. And I think it was at the end of that Matt got his first win of the season, so that was very, very, very interesting. And ooh, okay. Interesting start there to this formation lap, as there was a little bit of bumping going on between the top 2 drivers. But yeah, we will follow people around, and once this all has settled down, we will also go through the entirety of the grid to see where people stack up for this second race. So we got, as Phil said, Nick Meadow on pole position. Someone who definitely shouldn't be there based on his performances towards the end of last season, where he was a top 10 finisher. Then we've got, yeah, we saw the top 10 really. Matthew Clip was in P number 10. Then we've got Nostra in 11th. Then Doc. We got Zedian. We've got Evan. We've got Quintin. We've got David Siska, Silver Arrow, Meeksta, and we've got Jeffrey Lankorak and Sansuke rounding up the top 20 for this particular race. And yeah, this is the only time, once again, I'm gonna mention this again, that we will have a full reverse grid. Normally we'll have the top 15 of the first race reversed, which is gonna be, yeah, the case next time round. So, let's have a look at as well at the other drivers as well down the field for this race. We've got Klaasens in P number 21, then Sisu, Voima, Matt. We've got Berserkmere, we've got Fizzy, we've got Dangerous Janetta, Terence Gretsch. If we can move it a bit down, there we go. Non-runner, Bernard Vella, Cheeky Monkey, Dazzy Oz, VSR Iceberg, Tom Bridle, Keith Camilleri, and Laxo to finish off this grid. And yeah, Phil going through the chicane now with his Lamborghini. I'm not sure why I said McLaren last time. It's a Lamborghini, for God's sake. And there we go. Here goes Phil blasting off into the distance, and it's Nick Mino's job to keep the field behind and choose to go whenever he feels like it after the final corner until the start finish line. Laxo waited quite late on the 2 attempts he had, so it's going to be interesting to see how Nick Mido does it. This time round. Here we go, on to the start finish race. Everyone really waiting the starting sequence to begin. Someone pulling out there quite massively. That is, I think, Wilkie, if I'm not mistaken. And when is Nick Mido going to start this race? Not yet, he's waiting quite long as well. And here we go, once again, racing here at Imola, and it has been a good start from Nick Mido. It is very close there in the background. Astrid Aslani going over the grass there almost. Into turn number 1 we go. And let's see where all the cars are lining up. Pops going around the outside. That is battling with Astrid Aslani. And it seems like a clean start for the top 10. Oh, as I say, that has been an impact between, that was Nostra and Matthew Clip going down the field all the way.
Yeah, large collision in the back for a lot of people, unfortunately.
And Pops as well now.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's more. I wouldn't be surprised if this perhaps gets called for a restart. We'll see. But that's a lot of cars off at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we wouldn't mind another restart.
Laxo mostly avoiding it all.
Laxo is great at this normally.
And through an iceberg. Wow, that's not an easy pass. Just straight through an iceberg. Okay, who we got up there? Nick Mido looks like he's pulled away a bit.
Yep, definitely. Ooh, Laxo 3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide. Oh my god. Iceberg is just watching this with hands covered across his eyes. 3 wide into this chicane doesn't work, boys. You got to back out someone.
Ooh! They managed it somehow.
That is stunning.
Oh, it's the final lap. Wait, why does it say final lap on my screen? That's not the final lap. Overlay.
Oh wow, what a race! It's all. It was so good. It was so quick. It felt so quick.
Overlay, please. Can't do that to me. But yeah, I mean, Laxo doing what Laxo does best, what all Finnish drivers do best, apparently, is gaining positions on the first lap. He gained 20 positions on the first lap. 20 positions. How in the flying hell?
That's only more, just over half.
Oh, that is crazy. Mr. Alcon and Nicholas Domino in the battle for P number 4, while the top 3 have been pulling away. And Nick Mido has a 2-second advantage over Sluman at the moment. Mr. Alcon defending once again from Nicholas Domino. And we've got Fox very close behind that at the moment. And someone who's really lost out in this whole... Oh yeah, obviously Pops had that incident with Astrid Aslani we saw earlier. So that's not a surprise why they both are so far down. After they started quite high up, really. And Astrid Aslani also disconnected from the server. So
that's going to hurt his chances
of
finishing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Although, no, you would still, you know, finish.
Oh!
Maybe. But
Just did a quick push the button to go to the most exciting, and I saw one Wilkie going quite slow, but also Sansuke then running slightly into the back of Zedian. Looks like they're both got away with it, apart from the fact that Sansuke is now under massive pressure from Microland, and Microland is going to go past one. He's going to go past two. Ooh, Zedian sees him, leaves him just enough room on the apex, gets away with it. Though Microland, oh, does he get? Wow, I thought that was going to be contact between him and Sansuke there, but it looks like he got away with it. And again, and now it's Jeffrey Langarak attacking on Microland, and he's going to be outside for these right-handers, but he'll be the inside coming up to the first chicane.
Oh my god, this is going to be a massive train here. This is crazy stuff. Matt's here looking in the background, lurking in the background. Here comes, ooh, here comes Klassen through. This is so close between Klassen and Microlander. Matt around the outside of Klassen's here, and I think he might have done the move here. While Laxo is swarming in the background, he wants to get through here as quickly as possible.
He does. He's just got to be a little bit careful in those few corners there. Those are some tricky moves trying to get him to overtake the stunt. And if you become impatient, which Laxo doesn't, to be fair, that's where it can get all hairy. Oh, as he runs onto that extra surf and almost loses the rear end. Doesn't come. I mean, I've seen it so many times. You run out wide on that corner and you just lose the rear end. You snap back onto the track. You can't quite control it. You run into the side of the car alongside you.
Round the
He
outside?
did it there. As around the outside there is very difficult. You have to have the car on the inside essentially just lift off and give you all the room. So it's unlikely from that position. Although he's now kind of defend from Terence Gretsch.
Oh no, Wilkie and Sluman both off in the
Oh, no.
somewhere.
In the somewhere.
Marvin Sluman, who was
The ether.
second in this race. Ah, that's so
Yeah.
unfortunate.
No, that's
oh,
that,
Nick
that's
Mito!
Nick Mito, he's gone as well. Oh no, so that means Mr. Alcon leads. Oh no.
Yeah.
Say oh no. I don't mean that, Mr. Alcon. I don't mean it's oh no that you lead, but oh no that Nick Mito's lost it. Oh man. That is a whole big change around there for the front three guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, you thought three top racing just completely changed around. Now there's a huge battle going on.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Those it's a battle of it's the teammate pairs coming against each other. Doc and Domino versus Quarks and Kvintin.
And it's 2x2 into turn number 1, and Fox is round the outside and he's done the move. Ooh, it's so close.
And Doc and Kvintin, no, side by side, giving each other really nice, respecting racing room there. As they come side by side now, can they do the same thing through this corner? It's going to be a lot more tricky. Are they going to be able to manage it? Doc's going to have a hard time holding around the outside, and there he goes. Oh no, there goes Domino. Domino spins. Oh, that's unfortunate. That was a nice battle between those guys all hanging up, and these guys running side by side. Look who's that allowed it, and it's allowed Nick Mito to come back, but also Sansuke is right there as they go pairs side by side up the run, up the hill into this double left-hander. Kvintin trying to go all the way around the outside. He's got the late break late, but he's run wide. I don't know if that's gonna count. He kind of used a lot of the extension. Is that Doc's coming around? That was pretty much always inevitable. Huge contact there as well with Sansuke to spin him all the way around.
But he survived.
He survived
somehow.
But he's gone all the way around.
Yeah. Oopala. Once again,
here we go again. Yeah, with yeah, man, there's so many battles. It's Sansuke versus Jeffrey. You got Matt versus Zedian, and then you've got Laxo versus Microlander, all coming down the hill into the second to last corner at the same time. Laxo at the rear of this, he's just watching, perhaps all on the outside now of Microlander. Can he hold it? Oh, that's some nice driving there. He's going to have so much momentum coming out the corner. Microlander, oh, that's contact.
Woo! Cameron scratched up and he forced into the pit wall.
Microlander obviously just didn't notice he was there. He's trying to catch the stream of Laxo, and just turns across as Laxo. Wow, he's just driven straight past you. Then he had no chance apparently. But in there, and oh my, look at this. Laxo again. Another move on Sansuke. Now can he get Matt? Probably not here. Matt goes defensive, although maybe that's exactly what Laxo wants Matt to do. Let's see. Matt's usually pretty good to be able to hold the inside line though with speed. Yeah, he does, and that's actually going to be perfect for him. Perfect defense from Matt.
Oh, microlander off into the gravel in the background.
So
this is some shit.
He's going to come back on the track. Woohoo! Look at that. Comes back on the track right in front of some cars. Luckily, they all avoid him.
Yeah, and Sansuke meanwhile spins as well on the hairpin.
Always fun.
Always fun, always fun. So, at the front, Mr. Elko still leading by 3 seconds over Prox, then Quintin, then Nick Meadow, who's catching up maybe again. But this gaggle of cars here, Matt and Laxo in particular, will be very, very, very rapid in the next 10 laps. It's going to be incredibly interesting how they can do really, if they're going to start battling each other first, or if they're going to stick behind each other until they made it up to those podium positions and then fight it out for maybe even the win towards the end.
Oh no, I was just about to say, look, you've got that gaggle of cars up there, but then you've also got the gaggle of cars just all around behind as well from Pops at the moment. It was originally from Terence Gretsch down, but because there was a contact, it's now from Pops down, Pops, Dazzy Oz, Bernard Vare, Silver Arrow, Keith Camilleri, Nostra, Sansuke, and the Fizzy non-runner, Meekster, and Microlander, all sort of in this group. Dangerous Gianetta not far behind, and then a little bit of a gap to CC Point, but all of those cars mentioned in this sort of fight between each other, in this big train. Are they going 3 wide? No, not quite. Gazios rather sensibly not making it 3 wide, I think. As they go into this corner, that's going to be contact. Yeah, that was always going to be. As unfortunately, Pops goes round.
It's so close between all the drivers. They're going full ham here in this race. It's nearly 3 wide into the chicane. It's not going to work out. Iceberg very close. That's a car in the background off. That's Nostra. And Bernard Vella somehow survived that after contact with Sansuke, and Sansuke is still somehow in 14th. While we have...
all this is going on. There's Laxo, Matt, side by side, down the hill. Oh, this is going to be close. Surely Laxo's going to try and go for the undercut here. Although, maybe not. There's not quite enough room to sort of get that move perfectly done. And that's going to allow Matt to go defensive. Once you go defensive here, it's sort of, I would say, impossible to go around the outside, but you never know with these guys.
This is going to be an excellent battle, I feel like. And Matt going to the inside line once again. Can Laxo go around the outside? He will have a little bit of the right-hander here because and now into the brakes we go, leaving each other room. Can Laxo go around the outside of the final corner as well? And I think he has the better exit, but it's still side by side coming onto the straight. And I think they're going to remain side by side into turn number 1, Phil.
I don't know. Laxo might just pull away. Yeah, I think now the question is, will Matt get into the slipstream enough? Nah, see, he's pulled out to the outside, which means this should be Laxo's position here. How can Matt fight back early? He's going to have a run. Laxo's going to defend. Now, is this what Matt wants Laxo to do? Because if you can just keep... Oh, he's going to try the outside. That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Yeah. Ugh. They both survive, at least. Laxo will continue.
Matt's now in the... Ooh, the cars behind have to avoid Matt. Very nice work from Terence Gretsch to not have contact with Matt there.
Definitely. And as Nick Meadow has another issue after setting the fastest lap last time. My God.
I suppose the one thing that Matt taking Laxo out like that gives you is that Laxo now has more work to do to try and catch his way up cars ahead. And
obviously some damage now as well.
And some damage, although Nick Meadow makes it a little bit easier for him because Nick Meadow goes straight into the wall again at Acro Minerale, and I think that's his race over. I think he might be quitting this. He sort of sat there for a bit. Maybe his RPMs rise up a little bit. I wonder if he's just going to wait. Maybe he's just taking a break.
Mental breakdown.
As Keith Camilleri has got past Dazzy Oz.
Yep, probably a mistake there because he's already quite far ahead again. It's Keith Camilleri, the guy who finished second in the first race, also already up into 9th once again. So good second race here from Keith Camilleri once again. So far.
Nick Meadow does return to the pits. Sorry to cut across there. Nick Meadow back to the pits.
yeah. Mr. Alcon, meanwhile, still leading by 3.5 seconds. That is Fox in second, that's Quintin in third, and Jeffrey Langerak. So we have got a rookie 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment with Sedian also in fifth.
You got it. That's a good turnout right now for that team, Poix and Quintin.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's side, not side by side, but running 2 and 3 in tandem.
Ooh.
Some good stuff. And oh, we've got
Terence
Scratch. Oh, and then that's a contact between, I think, him and Keith. Was that Keith? Is that his teammate that's gone as well? Oh no,
that is Keith.
Disaster. Oh. I think Terence might have had another contact with Silver Arrow. Silver Arrow, who was in a good position, is now. People just need to slow down. There's a car stopped ahead. As is that? Oh no, who's that? Is that Matt?
Yeah, that's Matt. That is Matt involved.
And Iceberg spins on his own.
Oh my god, what is going on in that corner? I saw pumps in the wall as well.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Some very interesting stuff going on. We had everything really this race so far.
Yeah, we had 2 huge clumps of cars. Now there are no clumps of cars at all. They're all nowhere near each other anymore, just because of those few crazy laps of everyone just going mental.
Oh my god. That is David Siska rejoining the track.
David Siska, yeah, it is David Siska rejoining the track.
It seems like this car is more difficult to drive than it seems
like. Matt almost into the back of other Matt. As David Siska sort of has an issue at that corner as well. Alright, so all of a sudden though, that means the closest cars on track are Laxo versus Edian. Again.
Oh yeah.
He's passed him once like this. Can he do it again?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes is the answer. Alright, so that I think is one of the things to look for now, is Laxo going on an absolute charge to see if he can catch the guys ahead. But to be honest though, they aren't going slow. I don't think they are going at a pace where Laxo is actually going to be able to catch up. Now the only way Laxo catches up now is if he's consistently putting in those laps, and the other guys are just sort of only occasionally hitting them. 6 laps to go, maybe.
Yeah, we will definitely have an eye on that gap, especially from Laxo to Jeffrey Langerak. Up in front, Langerak, but it's Langerak. Now it's Langerak, but why does it say Langerak here? Hi, overlay.
It's just too many letters.
No, it's not too many letters. Non-runner non-runner also fits into this thing, so not sure why it doesn't work. Anyway, speaking of non-runner, behind Dazios at the moment in P number 9, and we had Nostra getting past Matt for P number 21 for the moment.
Yeah, Matt just obviously not having the greatest time of it at the moment. Sansuke going fast though, and he's up behind Bernard Villa. Bernard Villa,
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Coming up. Does he go fast?
Jock
I don't
disconnected.
know.
Jeffrey Langerak with the fastest lap of the race. Laxo with the fastest lap of the race. P4 and 5 currently the fastest guys on the track, really. It seems like, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about can Laxo catch the guy ahead? Well, actually, just looking at this group, every car, they're in reverse order of their pace right now.
Yeah.
Mr. Alcon not quite as quick as Poix, who's not quite as quick as the car behind him, Quintin, who is not quite as quick as Jeffrey Langerak, who is not quite as quick as Laxo. But then, to be fair, Laxo is a little bit further behind than Jeffrey. But man, this front group, if they continue that sort of trajectory, we could be in for something quite fun at the end of this race. Perhaps. I'm probably building it up and nothing will happen, but we'll see.
Yep. Definitely gonna be interesting towards the end of this race. And I mean, Mr. Alcon is very, very, you know, I guess very, very experienced in this kind of situation. It's not the first time, really, we have seen him up there. I think he has won in the Porsche Cup once at the Hungaroring, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was his... I'm not entirely sure anymore, or was that Mixta? I can't remember anymore. One of the two had an incredible race round there 2 seasons ago. Might be a little bit of a, you know,
yeah, perhaps. We need a We need our very own Assetto Corsa version of Mini Mariner just to come and give us the stats when we need.
Yeah, we need that. Minnie's unfortunately not watching, so otherwise we might even ask him. We always have a spreadsheet and stuff like not a spreadsheet, like a Google Doc, like a Docs thingy, but we're not updating that too consistently, do we?
I don't. I forgot we had it.
But I think we might have something for the start of the season anyway. Non-runner sets the fastest lap, so Lax not with another fastest lap really at the moment, at the moment at least. So let's see what's going on behind. Microlander and Dazzy was still pretty close together. Dazzy also obviously who got passed by non-runner the other lap. Microlander might be on the charge here up the inside into that corner. Dazzy was going a little bit defensive into the chicane just to make sure.
Microlander has a little bit of a wobble. He catches it nicely to not spin.
He is so on the edge all day, isn't
he? He really has been. He's just pushing, and he's got great pace in the car, running mid 46s right now. He wants this position. And every single driver ever wants the position ahead of where they are.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, unless you're coming up behind a lapped car, you don't want the position of them.
No, not really. Yeah, and apart from that, it really seems to have spread out a little bit. Dangerous Ginetta behind Keith Camilleri. That's probably going to get a little bit bigger if Keith keeps up what he has been doing in the first race. He'll Fizzy up into 16th position. Oh, Sansuke pretty close to behind Bernard Vella.
Yeah, he sort of has been the entire time. I don't think he's quite got the all-out pace to pass Bernard, but that's also partly down to the fact that Bernard is doing a great job. I think though, just looking at Sansuke's position where they are behind the next cars ahead, if these guys just take it easy, don't battle each other, I think Sansuke just keeps it a little bit clever, they might be able to catch the cars ahead.
Yeah.
It'd be close.
Very,
Granted, if Sansuke thinks he has the pace on his own and he can get past Bernard easy without losing time, then that is certainly the best option for him. He doesn't want to battle too hard. So the question is, if you can get here into the turn 1, that would be ideal. Although it looks like he's not quite got the pace. I wonder if he's just down the straight line bit. I wonder if he's got damage from any incidents. He's going around the outside though. Lovely. Oh, he absolutely smashed the braking there. Great job from Sansuke. Now let's see what he can do.
There are a few cars up ahead, so he's got some opportunities still left until the race finishes in 4 laps time. And the trend that you touched on earlier, Phil, it has not really, it has not really come down too much. The gaps I'm talking about. Fox is still about 2 seconds behind Mr. Alcon, but I think Quinton is really is closing in now on his teammate.
I think that's the thing is I saw a couple of laps ago or a lap ago that Pwax was Pwax or Pwex. I don't know. It's an arrow. I don't think arrows have sounds. As yeah, I think Pwax is sort of fluctuating the most out of them. It seems Quinton sort of keeping it more steady around his times. And is sort of slowly catching and then slowly dropping back, slowly catching. I think he's more catching than he's dropping back though. Jeffrey looks like he's sort of fallen off the way, and I don't think they're catching Mr. Alcon, but let's have a look. See, look at that. Yeah, see, Quinton 2/10 quicker than both the cars ahead, and then Jeffrey way quicker, 4/10, but just doesn't. It just seems to be fluctuating too much between all of them. This is what I'm saying with Laxo, is he's consistently going to be in those 46s, which those guys can get into the low 47s, high 46s, but they don't hit it all the time.
Yep. Tom Bridle down. Ooh, interesting. Oh, Matt was disconnected, but Sansuke got the fastest lap, 46.1, and also...
Racing,
yes, exactly.
Racing.
Tom Bridle went through on Sedian, and now Non-Runner is on the attack as well.
Had to get out the throttle there a little bit coming down to the hairpin. He's not going to be able to get this done. Is it all Zedian actually runs wide? And I think he was probably anticipating a move from Non-Runner. Non-Runner actually kindly backs out instead of having a lunge, and that's sort of put pay to that one for now from Non-Runner. Although, I mean, just looking at the pace difference between these guys, you'd think it's only a matter of time before he at least gets an opportunity. Whether he can make it stick, well, that's all down to him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look at him. I mean, look at how Bright has disappeared into the distance on this lap alone, really. And non-runner will now have the inside line into the chicane, and I think that will be the move done. There we go. Yeah, so they're very cautious there with the Finnish driver, and that's non-runner up into P number 7.
Oof, just scrolling through the field, just looking at all the individuals, just see where they are. Sansuke's last lap was a 46.1.
Yeah, fastest lap.
That is
Crazy.
insanity. And he's got Keith Camilleri now chasing Meekster. Now, I mean,
never mind. Sisu Voima fastest lap 45.9. Hello.
45.9.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he is.
Well.
Really in what position
He is 27th. He's kind of just not. I wonder if he's coming for fresh tyres or something, and he's decided to go for laps.
Could be as well.
Because Marvin Sluman is 25th, and he's 3 and a few laps down. So I'm guessing Sisu Voima, who is behind that, is even just having some fun out there. Would be my guess. Is Cheeky Monkey. Oh, Iceberg's in the pit actually. Iceberg now dropping all the way down the order.
Oh yeah, definitely. Why do people keep pitting? Hello.
They've come to see me and you.
Oh.
You and me. Okay, so what have we got then? Oh, look at this, Jeffrey Langerak. Yeah, man, he's going quick.
Oh, and Fizzy is off.
Oh yeah, there he is at the hairpin. He must have just got a little bit too much on the throttle. That would be my guess, or either that or it was a contact. But I think he wasn't close to anyone. So there you go. Now he's close to someone. It's close to Terence Gretsch, who has gone past.
Guess who is behind Laxo?
Me.
No, it's Sisu Voima.
Ah. Maybe he's been using some slipstream. Or maybe he's just catching.
Yeah,
who knows? All he looks. I tell you what, you can see. I'm fairly sure you can see anyway, just the tyre difference. The amount of grip he had through those corners compared to Laxo.
Yeah.
Just chucked it through there.
Definitely. Final lap then for Mr. Alcon, and there's something still close. The two teammates here, Fox and Quintin, are still very close together.
Yeah, last lap was Quintin's. That was a nice one, a 46.9. Fox only a 47.3. That's 4 tenths. The gap is 4 tenths. That kind of lap difference again will have him right up behind him, coming up to the line. A slipstream battle over the line, perhaps, to end this race between the two teammates. That's what we can hope for, anyway.
Yep, definitely. Mr. Alcon should have this in the bag if he doesn't make any major mistakes. He's been driving a very controlled and consistent race once he got up there in the lead, once Nick Meadow had his issues. But it's gonna be close. Look at that, how Jeffrey Langerak was gaining on these two really in the last few laps. Very impressive drive from him as well, I have to say. But it's still 3 tenths. Quintin needs a very good chicane now to have any chance at all to overtake his teammate. Oopala, that's not what I wanted.
Well, he needs a good momentum down here. If he can run and potentially put Poix into a little bit of a defensive position, perhaps just to unsettle him, going into a goal, make his nerves going down into the final corners, then that could put him off. But he's going to go, yeah, look at that, he's gone deep. He's done exactly what I thought he might. He's put the pressure on Poix, and now that's going to mean they're going to go across the line, perhaps convincing ahead of Poix. Or will the slipstream be enough? I'm not sure it will. Mr. Alcon, sorry, is going to come across the line to take a win.
Yeah.
Between these two, the teammates, they're going to come second, third in the order they are. Very nice from Poix to get it on the last lap.
Yeah, definitely a very good good teammate effort as well from the two rookies. Laxo finishing 5th, John Bridle 6th, and non-runner finishing in 7th with a fastest lap as well in the end. Non-runner 45.9. That just shows so many people getting fastest lap in this race, which is really good to see so many people on the pace. Oopala. And we've got other people obviously finishing the race as well. Bernard Vella, we got Terence Gretsch and Matthew Klipp. David Siska coming home in P number 17. Dangerous Janetta in P number 18 after such a good first race he had. And then he had to pit, which is not really good either. Pops, definitely still a question mark, I have to say. Not two not good races, really, from him, I have to say. It's gonna be to see what the defending champion of Season 2, well, not the defending champion, well, the defending champion in open wheelers, really, still can deliver. Fizzy finishing in 18th, and Dangerous Janetta is, for some reason, letting people through. Berserkmere and Nostra Pete number 2021. Cheeky Monkey will come across the line, and I think Sisu Weimar has already crossed the line, so that will conclude all the finishers. Or is someone still out there, if I'm not mistaken? Oh, there's someone. No, there's no one. No, there's no one.
No one?
I can't see even see Sisu Weimar, but even though it says he's still on the track. Well, who is still on the track then? Quinten is still on the track. Laxo is not on the track. Who is driving then?
No one's driving.
No one's driving. Well, I guess then
I was driving.
We can run through the top 10 really of this race. We've got Mr. Alcon. Oh, actually, now...
No, we won't.
Here we
It's
go.
pretty easy to do it here. There you go. Look, there's an actual results table.
There's an actual results table. I'm going to go out of the session and see if I can... standings? Hello? Can we do this? No, we can't. Hang on for a bit. I will try my best here to bring you the things. No, I don't want that. There we go. We're gonna put this behind that. And here we have the standings from this second race. We have non-runner with the fastest lap, but it was not him winning. It was his the other Finnish guy, Mr. Alcon, one of the other Finnish guys who won the race. Then we have got Quinten and Fox. Two very good teammate effort there. Quinten taking on the last lap after a mistake there from Fox. Jeffrey Langerak and Laxo running up the top 5. Then Tom Bridle, non-runner Zedian, Microlander, and Dazzy Oz in P number 10. And the rest you can see on your screen here to round up this preseason race. Phil, we have witnessed quite a bit, haven't we?
I'm not going to lie to you, Chris. I didn't hear any of what you said. You turned into a huge robot on my end. It's incredible.
I just what I was about to say. We have witnessed quite a lot, haven't we? Today.
Yeah, there's been, some stuff. Some stuff happened.
Yeah. I guess so.
I was there. I watched it. I talked about it.
And now it is time.
It was very fun.
Yeah. I agree, really. I mean, it is so cool, really, to commentate on these races once again. And the cool thing really starts now. We got some interviews which we can choose from. Any suggestions?
Well, you know who I want to get in.
You know you want Laxo, okay.
I do. I do. I mean, we had him so often last season. He wasn't even racing, but now he's racing and he's won.
We should.
He did a ridiculous result again in race number 2 after some hardships. I think we should get him in.
Okay.
I also think we should get, there's the guy that no one on AOR knows.
Yeah, definitely. Fox or Quinten, one of the two, definitely later. But let's start with Laxo. Hello, welcome back to the show.
Hello, great to be back here.
It seemed like you never left. You're still dominating first races?
Yeah, I don't know what was. Maybe the others were sandbagging or something. I don't know.
Well, it looked like a lot closer in that second race. How did that go, really?
Yeah, it went quite well, to be honest. But I have had to, go through some accidents. But yeah.
Yeah, in general, what is your feel of the car of the new season? Do you like being back in the open wheelers? Did you prefer the non-open wheelers?
I don't know. I don't really care about the car, but yeah, the car feels good for now.
That's good.
Feels okay.
That's very.
Could be better, but yeah, could be maybe harder to drive.
Okay. But we saw some shenanigans up and down the field, really, so it seems like for some people it's very, very hard to drive.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to ask them.
Alright. I mean, it's a preseason race, I guess, some shenanigans will happen here and there anyway. But yeah, I mean, congrats on those fantastic races. Obviously, they will probably not mean too much because the season is not going to start now. The season will start next week. But
Yeah.
you seem well informed, and good luck for the start of the season next week, I guess.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, now it's been Laxo. No, Tino, we will not get you in the commentary box, even though you want to, probably. Anyway, who should we get as well?
We have to have Fitz, don't we?
Do we really?
I mean,
do we really?
Maybe.
Okay, let's get him at the end in a bit.
Okay.
Should we
Right, so
maybe
who do you
get?
want? Who is...
Should we maybe get one of the new guys, Quintin or Fox?
Or both, as if they're both in there. Maybe. Perhaps
Quintin
get
is
both
in.
them.
Quintin is in
I
Discord.
don't think Fox is though.
Quintin is in Discord. Maybe. Quintin, is he? If he's up to it?
He is. Quintin's in, but I don't think. Oh no, he might have just left.
Oh no!
Oh well.
Just heard us on the stream talking about him, and then.
That makes me so sad. Okay, so who else have we got in there that's...
We had Keith Camilleri finishing second in the first race. We had Tom Bridle finishing third in the first race. We had Jeffrey Langorak finishing fourth in the second race.
Am I going to have to flip my phone again?
Flip your phone, okay. Jeffrey is not in the Discord, by the way.
That doesn't help.
Okay.
Okay, give me two. Give me two.
Oh.
Give me any. Oh, they're all leaving. None of them want to do it.
Let's
Chris,
go.
you scared them
Let's
away.
go quickly with someone. Who is still in here? Let's go with Tom Bridle before everyone goes off the way.
Okay,
Ah, can't move him. Come on,
I'll do it.
do it.
Where am I moving him? Into here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Everyone is
Oh,
leaving.
Holland.
Everyone is
Hello.
leaving. Hello, Tom Bridle.
Hi, you alright?
Yes, I hope you're alright too. I mean, interesting races you had there, really. But it seemed like you're on pace.
I think I did alright, considering. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be too far up there, but yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. P3, race 1, I can't complain with, definitely. And I think I got a bit lucky, as usual, with race 2, you know, people going off and such. But yeah, I kept with them all. Happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked very, very nice also with the battling you had towards the end of that first race. In your opinion, how does the car feel?
The car's really good, but it's a bit difficult to drive if you don't know how to drive it as such. Not in a bad way, but you've got to get used to it. It can snap a little. Not prepared. In my practice sessions, did not go anywhere near as well as I kept it quite clean, which I'm quite happy.
Okay. Well, I mean, in general, we heard some people were experiencing lag issues and stuff like that. Did you like notice anything of that?
Oh yes, yeah, there was a fair bit, but it was manageable.
Okay.
But well, for me anyway, it was, but maybe not so much for the other guys.
Well, at least it was a pre-season test, I guess, which is always you know good to have, I guess.
Yes. Improved race.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, congrats once again on these good races, and good luck for the start of the season next week.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much, guys.
Goodbye. I'm going to move you back to the others. There we go. That has been Tom Bridle, and we've got Sadian back, so we could get him back in, if you want to.
You can go for it if you like. You're the boss of the interviews.
Wow. You could ask him a question as well if you want to.
Yeah, but I just ask people what their favourite drink is.
That's maybe not the best idea, but yeah, we've got one of the rookies in. Hello, Sadian.
Hello.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone left, and it seemed like you wanted to have an interview or something. Was suggesting you. You were 8th in this second race. I'm not quite sure where you finished in the first race.
Somewhere 24th, I believe. I got swallowed up. I didn't have any confidence in like fighting or defending safely.
Is this like your first league on Assetto Corsa, or is this like basically your like first league ever?
First league in Assetto Corsa.
Wow. Okay, that's very cool to have, really. I mean, you did really well in that second race. How did that go for you in general?
The second race I had a lot more confidence, and I think in the first race I got rear-ended, so that was just a world of difference in terms of keeping my pace.
Okay, yeah. In your opinion, how does the car feel? Well, I've been asking that to really everyone. How does the car feel really to drive?
A bit rear unstable on the brakes maybe, but otherwise it's really nice.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I mean, you've done really very well, I guess, for your first night. And
Thank you.
And good luck for the start of the season next week, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna move you back to the others as well. There we go. That has been one of the rookies for this opening interview thingy. I saw someone getting moved around quite a lot. I'm not sure if that was intentional. Should we have... Well, actually, first, final words, Phil, of this first, you know, thing.
Final words?
Yeah, final words. We will have Fizzy have the final words.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, I've always been one that prefers open wheel racing. I was a huge fan of the F3 season back all those many eons ago, and so to come back into this season with this seemingly brilliant car for racing, as I've driven it a bit, and it's as they have said, it's sort of, it takes a bit of getting used to. It sort of feels a little bit different to something you're used to. It is very rear limited. Can easily lose the rear on throttle and under braking.
Yeah.
But that just makes it exciting, makes some great racing, and I am very much looking forward to the rest of the season, hopefully. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely too. I mean, we are both, more open wheeler guys, I guess. And yeah, it's gonna be very, very fun to see how this all starts up next season. Don't forget, we will be a little bit earlier on air next week to have a proper driver introduction into the season, team introduction, etc, etc, so you are up to date about the drivers and all their stats and achievements so far in this league. And now it is time to have someone else in here, because Fizzy, you will have the final words before we close the stream. Bye.
Why?
Good one, man. That's
Because
good. It's good close.
Is that the final word?
Yeah,
Okay.
final word.
Yeah, I drove a car and it was interesting. My first time over in the car, and hope everyone enjoyed watching my spin.
Good night, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye. Bye.